Guys, welcome to I've lost count. Welcome back to Untold Gems podcast.
It's
And
19, episode 19.
okay, but
Episode
yeah,
19. Yo, can you
welcome back
believe
to
it? We're
episode
almost at
19.
20.
Facts. And yeah, thank you guys for watching and subscribing. We've had a few people giving us feedback this week. I had someone DM me. I know someone commented on our YouTube video as well. And shout out Tyler, always giving us
Always.
little tips and tricks to
Yeah,
improve.
shut Tyler.
We're figuring it out behind the scenes now. It's taking a bit of time to figure out, but it'll get done eventually. And yeah, we wanted to talk today about self-improvement, as usual, confidence, how to build your confidence, how to deal with your insecurities. I think this is like really Sasha's topic, and she always is trying to promote self-confidence. I think I too do that, and Charl obviously does that too. So do you want to start us off, Sasha?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about like how to eliminate self-doubt, because I think that's something that literally everyone struggles with, including us, and I think self-doubt is probably the main reason why people don't do things that they actually want to do. And anyways, I think it's just a really important topic to talk about. So that's what I wanted to do with this episode. But yeah, I want to let's start us off by talking about like some tips or like some ways that you can start becoming more confident. We'll talk specifically about like in life, like in general, how you can become more confident. I'll start it off very simply by the people you are in close proximity with will directly affect you. And so I think if you surround yourself with confident people, people who are trying to better themselves, people who are obsessed with personal development, I think that will rub off on you regardless. I think like by nature, you'll become more like the people that you're surrounded by. So I think that's probably the most obvious like tip that I can give is just surround yourself with people that want to have a great life and want to be confident, whatever, and that will all be obviously start to like you'll start to adopt those same qualities. um can you guys give me some examples of like where do you think you can meet people? I think we've already spoken about this, but like where do you think we can actually meet people like this for somebody that has no friends, or they're like, no one around me is really trying to better their lives? Where can they go to find these people?
Let me give this ultimate gem because I started doing this recently. Go to Eventbrite, write your city that you're from, and then afterwards it's gonna say topic, and you write networking, and it's gonna give you topics or discussion panels or online seminars or in-person conferences for free or for paid within your city every single week and every single month. So at least guaranteed, if you have, we spoke about this a couple weeks ago, if you have a specific interest or if you're part of a specific niche, go within that niche and you'll automatically be forced to speak to someone. And like I said recently, when I go to networking events, I have this 7-5-2 rule. So it's 5 people you talk to, 5 phone numbers. Sorry, yeah, 7 people you talk to, 5 phone numbers you write down, and 2 people you follow up with. And then if you follow up with the right people, there's no way that you won't be able to have conversation and meaningful progress going in all these different events every single month.
Yeah.
So if you multiply that, you should at least have 24 contacts within 1 year if you implement that strategy.
Yeah. For me, I think what worked for me, especially not having anyone to like no real role models around me, I think YouTube worked for me. Whatever you're trying to do, whether it's self-confidence, self-improvement, there are so many YouTubers that their whole channel is focused on like these things. And so I would just follow their YouTube channel, follow them on Instagram, follow them on all of their socials so that they're constantly there. And obviously they're not your friend, but just hearing them every day or like seeing them wherever you open your feeds, that really helped me. So I started following people that I was listening to. Obviously Gary V, I follow him a bit everywhere because I just want to see any sort of bit of inspiration I can get from him. And I do that with a few other people. So there are so many. I'm sure anyone can find anyone who they relate to. And once you do that, once you have someone that you enjoy their content, you can just follow them, subscribe to them, and hopefully eventually, you'll pick up on a few things from them and just apply that for your own life. That's what I did.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky to live in like a digital era where like you can literally meet anyone. And even if there's people not physically around you, you can go online and type down like whatever it is that you're doing in life or whatever you want to be surrounded by, literally personal development, confidence, self-doubt, any of these keywords, and like you can find people that will give you the answers on how to get rid of these things. So yeah, I think we're really lucky to live in this era. I wanted to say, like, I think I've already said this too on the podcast, but go to the gym. I swear to God, like if you meet people, like most people who are going to the gym, they're already trying to improve their life. So it kind of goes hand in hand with self-improvement. It's like they're at the gym because they're trying to improve their lives. So it's almost like a no-brainer to surround yourself with people that are going to the gym or trying to focus on their health. And I've met so many people from going to gyms, going to workout classes, stuff like that. And it's just like it's a really nice place to meet people because yeah, like I said, they're all already trying to improve their lives. Typically these people will also have other good qualities that relate to that, and that will rub off on them. It'll rub onto you. So yeah, that's where I would go. Like if I had to recommend somewhere, just go to the gym, guys.
Just one more thing from my point. I said Gary Vee. I wanted to say a few other names because maybe that can help anyone. And I wanted you guys to say a couple of names of people who also inspire you that you follow. For me, there is Stephen James. He's a Canadian YouTuber. I talk about him a lot. There was another one. What's his name? Alpha M. That's his like YouTube channel. That's one that I listened to, especially when I was younger. I think for Sasha, she talks a lot about Vanessa Lau for young girls, entrepreneurs, and she's a girl that's doing it. She's killing it, and even I listen to what she has to say because she's literally killed it. And you guys, obviously, Chris Johnson is another one.
I was about to say Chris Johnson. You know who's really good? I think specifically for personal development, because Vanessa Lau is very like a social media strategist. If you want to grow your social media and stuff like that, Chris Johnson's like finance. He also talks about like health and stuff like that and personal development, but he's more like financy stuff like that. But guys, listen to Jay Shetty. Jay Shetty's podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I think like he has a book called, I forget the name of the book, but anyways, it's Think Like a Monk. Like his book, it's all about how to like kind of find your purpose. And a lot of the things that he talks about in the book are actually personal development, because like once you, I don't know, it's like without a purpose in life, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to want to improve yourself. But if you do eventually find a purpose in your life, you're going to want to strive to be the best you possibly can. And I don't know, I think that for if we're talking solely personal development, and especially confidence, I think Jay Shetty's like the number one that you should listen to. His YouTube videos, his podcast, his book, amazing.
Guys, Tony Robbins as well. Tony Robbins is a big one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And Dave Ramsey, he's a bit older. Sometimes what he has to say is not always.
Don't give them grandpa.
That's what I'm saying. It's not always relatable to our generation, but there is a lot of helpful advice that he does give in terms of personal finances. So he's one as well.
People always talk shit about him, but I do find that like he does have like I had read his book once and I liked it. It helps me a lot.
His message is good. Yeah.
I'll say this: Dave Ramsey is good if you want to get out of debt. Okay,
that's true.
That's true.
If you want to get out of debt, but Dave Ramsey's not there if you want to create wealth. And people, you could be debt free and still be broke. Don't let that go over your head.
I think his message, he says it a lot too. He at least wants people to retire millionaires, which is doable for literally everyone. Everyone with any job can retire a millionaire. And that's, I think, one of his main messages is that no matter what you do, yeah, like Charles said, like if you're not going to create wealth, at least the least you can do for yourself is retire a millionaire. And so that's what that guy's there for as well. And yeah,
Yeah,
you guys have
I
any
agree.
others?
Yeah.
Charles, did you have
No, I'll
anyone?
give it a couple because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people was like people have like money or temporary confidence, but it's like, and people will say like, I feel like if you want to have extreme confidence, you have to be psychotic, if that makes sense. You have to have so much belief in yourself that no one can tell you
Kanye West.
no, and thank you very much. I went to school with Kanye. And people will say I'm arrogant as hell. I don't care. When you have belief, it only takes Jesus Christ himself to say I won't achieve my goals.
Hmm.
And when you achieve a certain level of arrogance, and you could think of Kobe Bryant too, Michael Jordan, when you reach that pinnacle, when you say I am obsessed, I won't say a messiah, but as you reach this level of like expertise in your field, when you have pure dominance, that is the type of confidence I'm talking about. Like it's nice to have confidence once in a while, but when you wake up in the morning and say I'm gonna kill this day, and you reach a point where you put this industry at your mercy, that's the type of confidence like I'm trying to reach and be consistent after the rest of my life. Because once you reach
Yeah.
that, I don't care if it's my mama, I don't care if it's God himself. No one can stop me. And that's when you reach. And if you look back at everybody who said crazy proclamations, if you look at Kobe Bryant, if you look at Michael Jordan, if you look at Tom Brady, etc., a lot of them said crazy things at the time. We're like, yo, this dude motherfucking crazy. And
Mm.
if people around you don't call you crazy, you haven't reached it. You have to go back in the lab and reevaluate the situation, because it's, and we can even go to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a different type of confidence, but it's a silence confidence where he knows exactly what he's doing and doesn't care if you believe him or not. And when you reach that point when it's like you're an assassin for how confident you are, you have a cheat code to life. And like we go back to Chris Johnson, because I think it takes reaching certain task in front of you. If you're able to do a few things to achieve those things, and you think of it as being easy, and you're able to repeat the process. And I think that's what all the people we mentioned have in common. They all went to multiple industries and replicated some type of success. If you're able to do that and just build upon that, I think that confidence is can be shaken. If you reach confidence and your confidence can be shaken, that's true confidence. But if you're confident and then afterwards somebody has a negative comment and then you reevaluate your whole purpose, then there's work that has to be done for you to achieve that point.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think good mentors are, especially for discipline, I think the best mentors for that are athletes. Whatever athlete you can relate to, uh, any athlete who has a documentary out, Michael Jordan's Last Dance, documentary was crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, any of these like big, because there's a lot of athletes, not a lot of them become goats. And if you study the goats in any field, you'll learn that there's a lot of common things that all
Mm-hmm.
these people have. And one of the most common ones is obviously discipline. And and I think there's a lot of confidence that comes with having discipline. Once you're able to have full control over your mind, your routine, your body, then the confidence is just gonna like it grows from that. And
Could,
yeah.
could we get into it? I
Hmm.
think people don't have confidence because they don't have sexual discipline.
Facts. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I'm gonna give a mad PG-13. When your semen retention is low, how you supposed to build testosterone and gain that confidence?
Also,
And that's why I think
when you don't trust, or when you can't even trust your own word, if you say I'm going to do something and then you don't do it, um, what confidence are you going to have from within yourself? Like you can't even hold yourself accountable to things. So obviously you have no confidence. But
yeah.
once you're able to get small wins back to back, like the smallest wins, I don't know, going to the gym is so essential. It's a small win. But once you're able to get back to back wins, um, then yeah, confidence is just going to appear. Because let's say even if you're disciplined and you don't drink, for example, you don't drink. There's confidence in not drinking. When people are telling you like, "Oh, get a drink," and you say no, like you've just built confidence. You've said
Yeah,
no.
they call you crazy like they're calling Kanye crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you
And
have to be
so,
comfortable being like you have to just be comfortable being called crazy or being called different or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
like,
You have to be able to wear it with a badge of honor.
yeah,
Yeah.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, the UFC fighter, probably one of the greatest of all time. He is one of the most disciplined people on the planet, and he's never lost a professional UFC fight. And
Really?
yeah, he
What the
destroyed
hell?
everyone. I think he's only lost officially one round his whole career, like one round.
One round.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What the fuck?
So, and people like that are extremely disciplined. Yeah, I mean, you have to be confident. There's no other way but to be confident. And like he's very humble too, which is incredible. But
Yeah, you see, I was just about to say because we have to like this. I don't like the notion that you have to be a monk and not be able to be
no, it's not even like
flamboyant
that.
and be able to be arrogant. No, because there's some people is like Chris Johnson, and I love him. Chris Johnson will post something, let's say for example 5 weeks ago. He'll let people talk shit, and then he'll revisit the conversation
Mm,
2 months later, 5 weeks later, or a month later, and be like, "I told you." So when you're able to look at people and look at you in the eyes and say you're dumb shit,
mm,
and then and you keep your mouth closed and you hold the last laugh, that's where people have to realize that's the real game. That's the real win. Because when you're able to do that for 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, etc., and you just accumulate those people laughing at you, and then you had the last laugh because you were able to outlast everybody. That's when you build real confidence. It's like Chris said, it's the small wins, but it's also making sure that you eliminate any doubt that anybody had when they doubted you before. And I think of like Floyd Mayweather when people were buying pay-per-view tickets to see him lose, and until until age 40, he was basically 50 and all. So
hmm
sometimes you have to put on a show and you have to build a character so that you put like a cape of confidence on you, and it's okay to do so if you have to, and if that's what's going to allow you to push through when it's hard in life, do it. But I think that it's a combination of accumulating small wins, having discipline, and also making sure you're at your best or you look your best at every
mm,
aspect of your life. If you have like one lack somewhere, it's gonna catch up to you long term. So I think that's what people really have to draw down and look to see, or do an internal audit. Look to see where you have liabilities, whether if you don't go to the gym, whether you're able to get a haircut, anything small that could allow people not to say anything about you. I think that allows you to focus on the real things going forward and allows you to focus on the thing that will actually make changes in your life.
hmm
Yeah, and so you guys keep saying like be disciplined, blah blah blah, but what can you advise someone to do to actually become disciplined? What's the first step?
did you just blah blah blah?
Yes.
Excuse
No,
me.
because I think it's really valuable what you guys are saying, but also how does one actually become disciplined? Because you
Okay.
can say be disciplined all you want, but you have to let's pretend we're dumbing it down, you know? What would we tell someone that has no experience with discipline? What would you say is the first thing that you would do?
Well, it all depends on the person's goal, but I think for sure for me, at least being able to do 20 push-ups a day. If you're able to do 20 push-ups a day, every single day, regardless if you don't feel whatever, because those are the things where if you're able to do it, it becomes second nature, and then you apply that
Yeah,
same
that's
thing
true.
to different aspects of your life. Because I know a lot, we spoke about last week. I know a lot of people that stop doing physical activities in high school, and like
So
you hear
true,
people
yeah.
gasping when they walk up the stairs. So I think that I think that having the ability to just do something when you don't feel like it, that's probably one of the best ways to adopt discipline.
Yeah.
Because discipline is easy, it hurts, and if you don't feel pain, if you don't feel uncomfortable while you're doing it, then you're not really making efforts to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was just thinking too. I think being uncomfortable, like I think training yourself to maybe not enjoy being uncomfortable, but to accept the feeling of being uncomfortable, I think that's where discipline can be developed. Because, like, I think if you try to do one new uncomfortable thing every single day, or maybe if that's too much, do it once a week, try something new. And it doesn't have to be something big. It can literally be, like you said, 100 push-ups or whatever. You can just start by doing something really small. But I think training your body to be less comfortable, it will just, like, in general, the more uncomfortable you are, the more you will improve. And that will naturally just make you more disciplined, because you're going to start to enjoy that feeling of being uncomfortable and
Yeah.
that feeling of improving yourself. So it will naturally come. So I think that's a really good, like you said, be uncomfortable. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, for me, it's like controlling your mind. Obviously, if a lot of people, and I used to be like this too, just living life on autopilot. So you're not even thinking about anything. You're just like going with the flow. Um, to build discipline, you have to. It's so hard because I don't even remember how. Like for me, I wasn't disciplined at all, and then I started watching YouTube videos, and I learned about discipline, and then I started applying the things I was learning, and then it just happens that it works. And sometimes it stops working when you stop putting intention into your actions. So sometimes if you let yourself go, you'll lose your discipline. But if you don't have it innate in you, if you haven't grown up as a disciplined person, you can definitely develop it. And in
For
terms of
sure.
tricks or tips, bro, like schedule just, or the night before, just like write down 2 or 3 things that you want to get done the next day. If you don't get them done, then you have a problem. If you can get them
Hmm.
done, that's good. But then do that a couple of more days. Don't just do it one day. We don't know if you're disciplined after just one day. Do that a
Yeah.
couple of more days and then look at your results. And then you'll see whether you're disciplined or not, whether you have control over
Yeah.
your mind or not.
But you see, I think people just don't have enough fear. Because when you don't have fear, and if you don't wake up with fear, then you get comfortable. And for me, when I say fear, is that I wake up every day saying that if I don't get 1% better, I failed. My day was a waste, and I refuse to waste any single day going to bed saying that today I didn't accomplish something that brought me closer to my goals. And I
Yeah.
think so many people don't have goals at all. They just, like Chris said, you're so busy being in survival mode, saying I have to pay my bills, I have to finish school, I have to take care of my spouse, etc., take care of my kids. Like you can't even establish long-term goals for yourself, regardless if it's a body weight or regardless if it's a money goal, etc., because you're so busy on the micro that you can look to see what's the macro. So I think that if people are able to establish quarterly goals every 3 months, you say I want to finish it, or I want to establish these 3 goals, I want to accomplish it, and give yourself a punishment. Give yourself a
Hmm.
punishment if you aren't able to achieve those things, and you'll see. No, because I don't know if anybody had this. I guess it's an
It's
immigrant
true.
thing. But when you come home in trouble in school, and your parents are like, "Yo, what the hell you doing?" Or remember when you have parent teacher interview, and then you got one teacher that used to hate your guts, and your parents will look at you like, "Is this
Mhm.
my child's?" And then you have fear that you're gonna get caught. Though that's the type of situation where it's like so much you have fear that you're screwing the situation, and you'll do everything that's possible to make sure you can correct the actual situation.
Mhm.
And I think that's why people have to be able to dig deep and look to see where do I want to improve and where do I see places that I could actually make substantial changes for a positive way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
facts.
think in general, like creating specific goals, like Chris, you were saying, oh, you're just going through the motions. And like, I think it's true. Like, I think somebody, because it's actually like, it's very comfortable to just like survive and to just live and exist without having to think about, oh, what am I going to do next? Like, in a way, it's comforting, because like, if you can just shut off your brain and not think about improving, in a way, it actually feels like quite nice. But in the long run, obviously, it doesn't feel good. And like, you're going to feel like shit some of the time. But I think we get so comfortable going with emotions and not really like thinking about goals. But I think you just have to start creating, like, be very specific about your goals. And once you can actually do that, like, when you need to become disciplined, you're going to be like, oh, well, I have this goal that I'm really strong about. I believe I need to reach this goal. And that's going to motivate you to be disciplined, you know? So I think you just need to really like figure out what it is that you want to do in life. And like, even if it's not, oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, it can be small goals that will gradually bring you to something bigger. But as long as you have very specific goals and you understand what actions you need to take to get to those goals, I think that will naturally allow you to be a little bit more disciplined because you have a reason to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
Yeah,
apart from discipline giving you, oh, sorry, Charlie, wanted to say something?
no, I was just gonna say I think people need to go back to like drawing mood boards and like writing down goals. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're able
Yes.
to see what you're working
Vision
for
boards.
and what you have in mind every single day, it changes your whole focus. And you guys know I have a screensaver that makes me accountable every single day. And the worst thing you could do, and the worst thing I want to do, is like have kids and look at them in the eyes and say I couldn't give you the most because I was lazy.
Yeah.
Like that, right? That's my fear. If you look at your children and say you have to take the bus or you're struggling because I was lazy in my teens, that for me is like that's ultimate failure. So that's what drives me. That's my fear, you know. And like when you're able to establish those things, then like Sasha said, have a vision board to see what you're working for, then automatically discipline kicks in because it's a reaction to what the possibility is. You're not going to
Yeah.
emotions because you don't even have the chance to think about the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Facts.
I wish I could turn off my brain and be like, okay, let me not think about anything. Even if I do think, and I'll give the perfect example. When I was watching Spider Man and I was crying my eyes out, I'm thinking about the stocks I'm gonna buy for Disney on the upcoming Monday. So much so that I can't even shut off your brain. Even when you try, even when you're on vacation, etc., that discipline creeps in so much in your life that you can't shut off your brain. That's the type of exception we talk about, the type of focus that it takes
Yeah.
to not only make changes, but make drastic changes in a small amount of time. Because yes, you can make small changes, but if you want to have the opportunity to jump leaps and bounds in a short amount of time, and you know we had the advantage of the pandemic where we were able to accelerate that whole process in like 6 months. But if you're starting from today, look to see where you can make changes in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, or 2 years from now, and then write it down, keep yourself accountable, and make modifications as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying before, like, apart from discipline, confidence comes from knowledge. So once you know something, once you like think of it in your personal
Yeah.
lives, like whenever you like know something and someone wants to debate with you on a certain topic, you're innately confident because you know that, you know, whatever happens, you have the knowledge to back up whatever is going to happen in that debate. And yeah, so take the time to learn new skills, like learn new things. There's so many worlds of information that you are currently unaware of. And I think, yeah, just by learning something, if you watch like 10 videos or you start learning about a certain topic, if you just spend, let's say, 10 hours, 20 hours learning about one thing, you're already more educated than like 80% of the people. And so there's a lot of confidence in that because now
Yeah,
you
that's
can
true.
talk about something in like and go really deep on a certain topic.
Yeah, I just have a caveat to that because when we talk about like confidence, I agree with you. Like you need to have confidence in like a specific industry. But what do we say to the people in IT, people in accounting that you know one specific thing, but you're the most socially awkward creature possible? Because I know a lot of people that are book smart, but they don't have
Mm.
the social cues to be able to have actual conversations. Because I
Yo,
think that's where even if you do have smart, I feel like a lot of people lack confidence because it doesn't translate to different aspects of their lives.
mhm.
So
But
I think like I agree with you. Like you need to have like you can be dumb, but I think like you have to be like balanced everywhere.
yeah,
Like I call
yeah,
it like a
yeah,
renaissance man when you're able to know just enough about everything. Like you
yeah.
hold a conversation about anything, but also take care of yourself physically. Make sure you look good, at least above average, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
too many people, just look awkward. And like, if we think back to high school, I'm not saying like we have this like. I'll go back to my high school. Like a lot of people that were socially awkward are still socially awkward, and a lot of people who were the meat and potato guys, you know what they felt. Is all those people who were in the middle that were smart enough, but also athletic enough to keep where they were, that were able to rise a certain level, and now they're the ones who are actually moving and shaking and like doing actual productive things. So, what's the advice that we could give to people who are like socially awkward?
Yo,
Like,
to be
what are
honest,
tips for them to actually gain confidence, regardless if it's your parents or be able to talk to people?
I feel like that's low-key a bit of me because sometimes I feel like, yo, I know so much about Amazon and FBA, and whenever I'm out, whenever the conversation gets to that, obviously I start like I know how to talk about that. If it's soccer, anything football related, I can talk about that. And then sometimes it goes into different topics, and then I'm just quiet. I'm just quiet, quiet, quiet. Because it's true, I feel like that a lot. But there are things that obviously you can do to fix that. Um, you can again learn how to not be socially awkward. It's a skill, like you can learn how to do that. And I think
Yeah,
yeah, it comes more natural to other people, but you can't look at other people. You have to improve yourself. And so if you're naturally awkward, then doing like Charles said, learning a bit about everything, whether it's, any different sport, any different thing in entertainment, anything about personal finances, anything that's happening in the world, news. If you can pick up on a bit of information from everywhere, then you'll be good in those situations. But also, I feel like a lot of it comes down to real life experience, like having lived a few things. Before I
That's true.
traveled to Europe, I don't even remember what I would talk to people about. But now that I've traveled a bit, um, I have stories to tell. I have things to relate to with other people. A lot of people have been to the same places. So actually living life, experiencing things, can also get you there. So I think that's a good tip. Like travel, travel will get you um, into different conversations.
True, and while you're traveling
I
too,
agree
like
with
you're
that. I think,
speaking to other people too, which is like that can train you to
Hmm.
speak to like different types of people that you've never spoken to. So I think practicing just speaking to people in general will help. I've never been really socially awkward, I don't think.
yeah,
So I guess it comes to me naturally. Like I swear I don't think I can talk forever and there's never silence. But I think you just need to practice. Like just try speaking to multiple different people and I think it'll eventually come natural maybe. I don't know. I think that's the best advice I
yeah.
could give.
'Cause I think Chris might relate or might understand this. There's two types of people. There's like problems money could solve, and there's problems like money you just shall look. And I think that there are ways to make yourself, we'll say, there's ways to cheat the system. You can get nice haircuts, you can get clothes that fit your body
Mm,
type, etc. You're
Hmm.
able to cheat the system. I think, like Chris said, being well traveled and well spoken are two things that you need practice and you need to be able to experience those things. So if you're not well traveled, if at least go public speaking classes, because so many people I know don't know how to talk respectfully. Like if you're not able to code switch, go from a corporate environment and you're able to speak in front of a board and being able to have a conversation with your friends,
Mm.
that's where the people I feel get kind of lost because you're only able to
Yeah.
speak to a certain type of demographic. And I think that's where when you're unable to relate to those people, that's okay. But if you're unable to integrate yourself and make them feel comfortable, I think that's where the silence comes in. So one advice I could give people is if you aren't well traveled and if you don't know what's going on, download, we'll say, Business Insider, Market Watch, anything that gives you general information about, we'll say, for example, top 10 places to travel, best credit cards to have, business news, etc. At least you have a general overview of what's going on and you're able to pick and customize to your likings. Because I think so many people And I think COVID accelerated the process where we're just so used to being alone that even I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but coming out of COVID, like the first time
Oh my
like
god.
COVID came out, I was in a classroom. I never felt so socially awkward in my life.
Me
And like
too,
Sasha
me
said, I'm
too.
somebody who like it'll take me 10 to 20 minutes to break the ice, but once I talk, it's like it's hard for people not to get me to shut up,
Mm, mm,
So that was the
Yeah.
first time where I felt like I don't know how to make friends, I don't know how to communicate with people. So I think that for people who are just stuck being alone, I just think like slowly trying to get back, like Sasha said, going to travel, go speak to the different people on vacation, or even if you're just able to do Zoom calls with different people. I think that's a different way to have interactions, and then slowly start to lower the hatchets as well.
mm,
It's funny that you mentioned COVID because I was just thinking today, like this morning, I was just thinking because like I started having like more new friends recently, and it's making me like so happy in life. And I was just thinking recently how badly COVID affected all of us. And I'm not even somebody that is like I don't need to be that social. Like I don't need to go out every night, but I just like to speak to people. And I was really thinking about it, and I was like, I'm just starting to feel normal again, like now.
mm,
And it's been a couple of months. I mean, obviously Quebec had it a lot worse than most places. Like we were in lockdown a lot more than everyone. So I think for us it was way worse. But since like since summer started basically, like it's been a couple of months, but I'm only starting to feel like my normal social self like recently. And to me that's crazy because like I'm naturally such a social person, but at least from my experience, because like I always have topics to talk about. So like I don't like
mm,
for me it's like I don't like that's not something I would need to work on, but for me it was just like not speaking to people for a long time, it makes you lose your ability to feel comfortable in a crowd. And
Yeah,
I don't know, honestly it's just putting yourself out there more often. That's what's going to make you become more, I guess, comfortable speaking to new people. You just have to like basically do what Charles was saying and go on bright, what was it, bright events.
yeah, Eventbrite.
Yeah, and go
Is
look
it
for
Bright
like
events? Yeah.
networking events. I don't know. But just go look for like networking events. Go out with your friends, go to the gym, go anywhere where there's humans and people and like some type of social event, and just practice speaking to people. I think that's what helped me start to feel a lot more normal.
Yeah.
also,
Once again,
also,
guys.
sorry, I just want to say, don't, the way you talk to yourself is super important. Don't beat yourself up if ever you're having these issues. I think I just started realizing, like, very recently in the past couple of years, maybe in the past year, I've started noticing other people because I was always beating myself up for, oh, you're not talking enough, you're leaving these gaps of silence. But then I realized the other person is also doing the same thing. Like, it's not just me.
Mm.
Other people also have their own flaws, like, and they're also struggling with the same things that you are. So don't beat yourself up too much, because the way you talk to yourself is also something that's a game changer when it comes to confidence. If you talk to yourself like you're a piece of shit, then obviously you're not going to be confident.
You're
But
gonna
if
feel
you
like
start,
that, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but if you start gassing yourself up, like in your own mind, when you look in the mirror, if when you talk to yourself, if you're, even if you have to fake it, like even if you don't feel like it, just faking it
Mm-hmm.
Be
consistently enough,
delusional.
yeah, delusional
Be
optimism,
delusional.
and literally fake it till you make it, because it does work. Like, but you have to do it consistently.
Yeah,
You can't just do it one day. Like, fix your posture,
a hundred
fix your
percent.
self-talk, and yeah, you'll be good.
I'll say two things. Like Sasha said, happy hour, happy hour, happy hour. Especially if you are, especially if you're a professional. Let's say, for example, if you're a doctor, lawyer, IT, you have specific organization, networking groups specifically catered to your industry. So you don't even have to, whatever you do as a 9 to 5, go to specific industry networking events specifically for that. And it's impossible not to talk to someone. And I think, like Chris said, I think speaking to yourself, and I'll say this, like realistically speaking, I think the last time you actually or you people lose confidence is when they have somebody else evaluate you. And what I
Mm,
mean by that is that I think so many people fear the or have the fear of rejection. and like, for example, let's say you go up to a girl, the girl doesn't respond to you or this and that. I think that's what makes people take 4 steps back is the fear of rejection. I don't even think it's that inner thought. I just think it's a perception of what people might say about them. That's holding them back. It's not even your own perception, but what people may
Mm-hmm.
think about you. I think that's what's
Yeah.
blocking a lot of people from actually going out and being
Yeah.
engaging and being outspoken. Because a lot of people, and if you go back to like pre-COVID, you used to go to a club. It's like, I don't know if you guys ever been in a situation, but sometimes you have to go up to the girl for your friend because there's a lack of confidence just because there's a potential of being rejected. And I think all those things, when you add those up, are if especially if you don't talk about it, if you don't acknowledge it, all those things add up, and like Chris said, factor into the way that you talk to yourself. So, like Sasha said, if you're just able to go to the gym, do anything that pumps your blood to make sure that you feel healthier, the best, or just aim to be the best version of yourself, I think those are all things that could put people in the right direction long term.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think also being comfortable in silence is a very big thing. Like for me, no, but for me, before I was always stressed. I had to fill whatever silence there was.
Me
But
too, though. I'm still guilty of
yeah,
that.
no, but as I got older, because with some people, if you've worked on it and there's still moments of silence, obviously that's always going to happen. It could just be that you're not clicking with that specific person. Like with some other people, you won't have any moments of silences. But if you can sit in the moment of silence and take the pressure off of yourself and like maybe start putting it on the other person, because the other person also has to deal with it. So it's like for me at one point I just got comfortable with like, okay, I won't say anything, and if the person, like, it puts the pressure on the other person instead of having it on you. So yeah, there's like
Yeah,
a
that's smart.
yeah.
That's smart because I struggle so much with that because like I like to talk. I can talk forever, and it's like my brain never runs out of topics to talk about. So like the moment that there's silence, it's like I want to fill the
Yeah,
gaps, and I'm just like, oh my god, and it makes me so uncomfortable. But it's true. Me too. Recently, like I've been like like I never thought about it of like thinking about the other person or like putting it on them. But me too. I've
yeah,
been like, oh, maybe it's okay that there's a silence because no one wants to talk and that's okay.
that's
And like
it. Yeah,
I've been trying to like accept it, and it's like it's really
Hmm.
weird because I'm not used to it, and like I don't like it, but it's true. It's okay. Like it doesn't have to always have noise, you know? Like we're allowed to stop talking for a bit. So, yeah.
this thing that I just said, like, it specifically also applies to guys talking to girls. I feel like guys don't have such an issue with other guys. Sometimes they do, but like I feel like guys with girls, they always want to say something. They're always trying to like talk. But
Yup.
you have to just like
And
keep quiet at times and just see if the other person wants to even talk to you. And yeah,
there you go. And I learned this the hard way. Guys, the less you talk, the better it is for you.
most of us do.
'Cause-
Yeah.
and you'll learn this from sales talk. The
So
person who talks
true.
the least has the advantage. All you have to do is
Mm-hmm.
listen.
Yeah.
All you have to do is listen. I'll say this because, especially depending on the context you are, of course, as both consensual adults, if you just say something straight out and it's a firm question answer and you say silence, it's not on you anymore.
Yeah.
And the person's gonna give you an answer no long. Like if you just say, "Do you want to date me?" and you shut up there and you say silence, the person's gonna have to answer because you put all the pressure on them. And if you stay silent for 2 minutes, the person's gonna either have to walk off or it's got to answer the question, but it's no longer on you. Sometimes I feel like as guys, we talk, but we have to justify why we say something. Like I like you, but because da 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 da. Instead of saying I like you and you just shut your mouth and you let the person react. I think that sometimes if we were just able to cut half the words we say, I think we'd be left off in a lot better positions also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
one of
other
the
ways?
public speaking tips, they say like stop rambling because it makes you seem like you're not sure or like you're not confident and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's true. Like the more you ramble and like say about like I do that a lot and it's really bad. But guys, I have one last little bonus tip. I'm gonna talk about confidence for business though, if that's okay that I change the subject. But
Yeah, for sure.
um I wanted to talk about this because obviously, like, we all run businesses. We're all part of this niche, so I thought it was important to talk about. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers are interested in these types of things. But I wanted to talk about like something that I was thinking about recently was, um, for example, well, this is the way that I'll say it: having high standards, like when it comes to speaking to people. Like, let's just say you're pitching something, and the person is like, or like, let's just say you offer them like a low price or whatever. This goes into sales, I guess, as well. But the person's gonna like the lower that you offer them, the lower the price is, they'll kind of look at you like your services are not as good. Whereas if your price is
Mm-hmm.
higher, your services, people will think, oh well, this person's services must be amazing because it's so expensive.
100%.
And it's like it's like sometimes if you're hesitant to price your services properly, like people won't respect you as much, or it will actually make you appear less confident. So you need to have very high standards for like what you're
Hmm.
charging, for your business, for yourself, so that you appear more confident to people, and they will naturally be like, oh, this girl's telling me that this is what she's charging. I respect that because she clearly knows what she's doing, and I'm going to pay it because I trust that she knows what she's doing, versus someone else that's charging half the price. And, they're like, oh, well, this is the price. And they're hesitant to tell you the price. It's like, it sounds crazy because you think that the person who has a lower price would actually get more sales. But a lot of times it's proven wrong, where just the fact that you don't seem as confident because you're shooting a lower price, more people
Mm.
will choose the person that's offering a higher price. So I really wanted to talk about that. Do you guys have any other little tips about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I just want to piggyback on what you said because the whole concept of what you explained is this concept called perception economics,
There you
and
go.
I don't know if you guys saw this situation with Payless, but essentially they took it was a funny experiment, but they took Payless shoes, put it in a different store called Palace,
Mm.
and instead of charging $30 for the shoe, they charged 650, and people were buying Payless shoes at six
They
hundred
were the
fifty
same
dollars
shoes.
because of the core of the store and the name of the store was spelled differently. They were the same shoe, different box. So just
That's
to show you that
crazy.
people are willing to spend more if you make the product scene higher end, or and you see the
Yeah,
same thing with Tesla. I'm not saying Tesla is the worst car in the world, but Tesla is certainly not worth the price that it is. And it's just because the aesthetics of it makes it seem like it's a higher end car,
yeah,
but the materials that they use don't justify that tag price.
Mm.
So I think that people need to, and I'll say this, it works out when you are able to apply those things to yourself. If you look a certain type of way, I'm not saying you have to fake it, but if you're able to have people perceive you higher than you are, it plays in your favor. Because
yeah,
essentially, like Sasha said, before I used to be, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be the Dollarama of everything. I'm just gonna be tailor made. You get it. You selling bulk now is here's the price. If you don't have it, don't have it. But I think people respect you more if you say that's the price, I'm not budging. Then if you start offering promo codes and you say, well, here's the
yeah,
friend and family discount, etc., etc. I think standing firm on what you have to offer and what you believe your value is, I think is a great way for you to be able to build the ecosystem and a reputation for what you have to offer as well.
Guys, tell me if this makes sense. I think people should treat their businesses as their children. Like, we're talking a lot about self-improvement. If you're lacking in certain areas for yourself, like you want to self-improve, with a business, when you open a business, you have a chance to work on yourself and at the same time work to make your business the best version of you that it can be. So if you treat the business as like your child, then you'll want your business to do the best things possible for itself. And with, like Sasha saying, you guys are saying right now, you need confidence to be able to price at certain points. You want your children to be the better version of you. And with a business, I think it should be the same thing. Like, you want your business to represent the best version of you possible. And so you have to teach yourself at the same, like, once you do it in your business, you're basically teaching yourself how to be confident, because you're going to have to learn how to say no to people. and how to say yes as well. So yeah, you guys are completely right. Like pricing your services at a higher price point is definitely something that everyone should be considering, but it also comes with confidence. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
have the confidence in themselves, and therefore it reflects in their business. But
Yeah, I'll just say this: if you are going to for people out there, if you have a product, if you are going to put a high ticket price item, you better make sure that your price or your value of your course is triple the value that you put on the price
oh
tag.
yeah.
Meaning that if your price tag is $100, make sure that the value of the course or the content that you put is worth $300.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if it's worth less, your reputation is busted. You know,
Yeah,
so I think,
we're
and we all go into this. I think that giving people the gems for free, saying this is what I do for free, imagine what I do when people pay me, is probably the best way that you're able to manage the two. Because I think that it's hard to justify what's the value in terms of what you're saying, but if you're able to give people free gem that makes them be able to basically do, like, at the end of the day, we give so much free value that if people just pay attention to all the stories that we put out, people are just able to put the puzzle together and legit do
Yeah.
it on their own. It's not that hard. People, we just repeat the same things over and over again.
Facts.
But I think that it takes a certain type of discipline to be able to do so. So that's why I think that that's a very valuable thing to keep in mind. But I think especially if you, I don't remember which episode we talked about like making content or like making courses. But if you go ahead and make courses or if you go ahead and make a business, etc., make sure you, at least this is a high thing. I'm like, okay, how much do I need for me to be able to automate this automatically? And then that determines my price, and then afterwards I put a 1.5 on that price. And that 1.5 I used to invest. So that's my formula for pricing my things.
Yeah, that's nice. Also, guys, don't get it confused. Like, we're not saying price your thing at a high. It has to be worth that as well. You can't just price something that's worth $100 at $1,000 uh, just because you're confident. Like, that's not how it works. It actually should still be like there should be enough value
Worth.
for it to be worth $1,000.
Yeah.
Valuable.
Yeah. You can't just
I think
increase
it's
the
just that
price.
a lot of people don't believe that they're as valuable as they are. So I think we're talking to those people, the ones that are doing a lot, who aren't charging the right prices because they're putting in triple the value, but they're only taking in pennies. And it's like, you just need to be confident in what you're saying, and trust me, they'll feel the confidence from you, and that will make you appear as a better salesperson because they're going to trust you more. And yeah, one thing about what you said, Chris, about how your business should be like your baby is, like, wouldn't you, like, I just want to piggyback on that, because wouldn't you want your baby, like, wouldn't you put the highest possible standards on your child, right? So you should do the same thing for your business. And I think the moment that you do that, people will see it, they'll feel it. If you're like always putting the highest standards for your business and you're like treating it like it's amazing and like whatever, people will feel that, and they're going to be like, holy shit, I want this, or like, this is something that's luxury and blah blah blah. But it's you that's going to start putting that high standard on it, and naturally you'll appear more confident, your business will appear as a higher level business, etc.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's a very valid point. I think people need to understand that at the end of the day, regardless of your personality online, you are what you put out. You know what I mean by that is that you could put so much valuable content, but you don't have the personality to be able to be separated from your brand. So we aren't at a point where we're Walmart and that we could be the Walton family that nobody knows that we're the owner. We are what we put out. So especially if you're online, make sure that, like I said, you put priorities in place to make sure that everything is streamlined so that the whole process from beginning to end for your users is solid. Because the moment there's a gap or the moment there's not delivery, all the process that you did could go tumbling down. So regardless if you're answering a DM, regardless if it's customer service, make sure that you put your 100% into it, because that
Yeah.
one person that has something to say could just impact and undo everything that you tried doing the
Yeah.
last couple months or years.
Yeah, just quickly, the way I see like delegation in your business, for me in my head, because I use a lot of like comparisons in my mind for things to make sense, and I see like delegating certain tasks as just like hiring a nanny, because I see my business as like a child. So whenever I'm delegating tasks, for me it's just like, okay, I'm hiring help to raise my child, like to make it better. And I think if people started to look at things that way, they would have less of a hard time in outsourcing, because all outsourcing is literally you're helping yourself, you're helping your business grow, and
Yeah.
you have to do it with care, you have to do it carefully, you have to do it right, but it's 100% worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Could we talk about something?
Mm.
Because I've been having this conversation lately with people. What do we say for the people who present that they have the confidence in the world, present that they have that shit together, but at night or in private conversations, those are the people who struggle the most? What are some tips that we could say how to actually implement some of those strategies that people do for the internet experiment to their real lives?
Mm. Damn.
That's a good question, but I don't even know how to answer that.
I think at its core, confidence has to be internal. So those people are usually getting external confidence. Their confidence is coming
Mm.
from their
Mm.
Instagram following, from their clothes, from their hairstyle, from, everything that's external. And that's why at the end of the day, when they look in the mirror, when they go to bed, they don't feel fully confident. And I think a lot of people are guilty of this. I think very few are the people that are completely internally confident, and that's something that everyone should be striving for. I think we're not even there yet. We're not fully internally confident. I think our mood, our reactions depend a lot on external things, and once you're able to get that to be fully internal, which, do you guys have any tips on how to do that? Like how to make your confidence be internal? I think we've already talked about it though, like knowledge,
Yeah.
discipline, taking care of yourself. All of these
Yeah,
things will
well,
make you internally confident. If you have control over your
1000%.
mind fully, then you'll be internally confident. And then whatever happens in the outside world will have zero effect on you, or should have zero effect on you.
For me, it ends at just becoming obsessed with self-improvement, because everyone has felt this. Whenever you start working on something of yourself, whether it's physical, mental, any type of skill, you feel good, no? Like once you accomplish it, you feel good.
Hmm.
And that's just it's not like a myth, like that's a fact. And so I think it ends with just start becoming obsessed with improving yourself, and try to surround yourself with, we've already said this, but try to surround yourself with people who are a couple steps ahead of you, so that you're always surrounded with people that, like, naturally you're going to adapt to them. There are people who are, it doesn't have to be someone that's like super ahead of you, but just someone who's slightly a little bit ahead of you, a couple steps ahead, and naturally you're going to start wanting to improve yourself if that's your surrounding. So I think in general, self-improvement is the answer, I think.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you see, I think at the end of the day, is like you said, it all starts within. I think that we all have childhood traumas that we don't address. I think like your
Oh,
confidence comes from
facts.
your childhood,
Hmm.
and I think that parents, especially your parents, because if your parents tell you you ain't shit, you'll believe it for the rest of your
Hmm.
life.
Yeah.
So I think that people, it starts with your parents. Like for me, and like I was able to go into sports, and when you go to sports, like your coach will tell you you're not shit, but until you're able to prove to yourself that you're actually able to compete and improve yourself, But like I think that that's where people have to go to address to see what are the things in my childhood and in my past that made me feel a certain type of way. Some people's acne, some people's body weight, etc., etc.,
Guys,
and
high
then
school
slowly look to address
is
those things,
horrible.
and then
High school is
afterwards,
horrible. Like we're all traumatized. Can you
Is
believe
there a
that we're
backstory to
all
this statement?
guys? We are grown adults and we're still traumatized from the shit that people were saying in high school. Like, can you believe it? Like that makes me like actually sad
Facts.
for myself.
Like the reason people start new Instagram pages, or I think that's literally just like a fear of the people from high school. Because why else would you be starting like a whole new different page? I think it's because we all hate like,
Yeah, I just saw a girl and she's
Guilty.
like, guys, yeah, she's like, separate your accounts
Guilty.
so that like the people from your high school don't have to see what
but
you're
like
doing.
why?
And I'm like,
Yeah, bro, we're all, like
it's
you said,
Yeah.
we're all adults and
we're
we're scarred by the people that were 16 years old with us at a time where everyone's sort of lost, and yeah, we're all paralyzed by these people.
I think you have to
Yeah,
understand that a
but
lot of these
you
people are in the same boat as us. They're
Yeah,
also thinking, "Oh my God, what is Sasha
there
from high
you go.
school thinking about me?" But it's like I'm thinking, "Oh, what is this girl thinking about me?" And it's like we're all thinking, like, "Oh my God, what are they?" No one cares. I promise you
but
right
we're
now.
too old to care,
And
bro.
no
No one
one
gives a
gives
fuck.
a shit. Sorry to
Yeah,
swear. I promised I would stop swearing, but no one gives a shit if you guys are trying something new. I mean, people will talk shit regardless, miserable people, but
yeah.
miserable people are usually so focused on their own life or like focused on themselves because they actually hate themselves, you know? And so they actually don't care. They're going to make mean comments, but most people are not focused on you. They're focused on themselves.
Yeah, facts. Like it's
You,
true.
you know, I call a bit of cap because I agree with them. But I think that we have people that just like to talk, regardless if it's positive news or not. I know too many people that say, "Did you hear what this person did? Did you hear?" And it's like every time you talk or every time you see them, they'll give you a list of 7 people and the up to dates
Yeah, they're like, oh, this
from their
person did this,
situation. Like
this,
I don't give a
and you're
fuck.
like,
But I think for me, there you go. And there's certain people that you don't want to hear about, but they'll have the whole tea, like it's TMZ.
yeah.
And I think for me, that's where, and I spoke about the reason why I did like was an investor, because it's like for me, it's to the point where my business IG is becoming my personal IG, my personal IG is becoming like my backup IG. And
Hmm.
one day I'll just leave that in the back. I'll completely disintegrate that and I'll focus on what I have to do. But I think it's a mental shift to see that it doesn't even have to be high school, it could be college, could be university. I think that once you go into like past 25, I think that it's just like history doesn't matter and you have to turn the page. And I think that's why it's easier to be American because a lot of people change town. You know, they'll
Hmm.
change states, they'll go somewhere else, and you start completely fresh. We don't have that luxury, unfortunately. In Canada, we live one of the, we'll say, most affordable provinces at the moment, unless you want to go
Yeah.
Newfoundland or whatever. But we'll say we live in one of the most affordable metropolitan cities in
Yeah.
Canada. You know, so nobody's gonna leave, and that's the issue. So I think that re-identifying yourself, so when people see you, they don't see the whole person that you were. But I think that we carry some scars, and like you'll see people, and it's part of my language. You'll see people that were but as ugly in high school, like but as ugly. But at the end of the day, either it was a badge of honor and they carried that forward for them to accelerate their growth, or it's like trauma that they carry over so that they don't feel that certain way that they did in high school. And that goes for guys
Yeah.
and girls. And I think that's what's not addressed. And I think that's what hinders the lack of confidence. Because even though you may have all the wealth, you might have all the riches, you might have all the beauty, deep down sometimes you know that it's not enough to factor in all those things that impacted your high school experience. So I think that's where we kind of have to like circle back to see like what are those things or what are those like lingering issues, either shut them off or look to seek like advice or help to actually like find those points and address them afterwards.
Yeah, facts. Sasha, did you have any other talking points for today?
No, I just think like I feel like I really don't care anymore what anyone thinks. And I feel like it's just such a good feeling. Like lately I've just been like I post anything and I actually do not care what anyone thinks, whether it's people from my high school, people that I know, and it's just like it's such a liberating feeling. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that there are some days where I'm like, "Oh my God, blah blah blah," but it's like in general I've never felt so confident in where my life is going, who I am, all of these things, and I just think that everyone always will go through moments of where they're lacking confidence, especially when they're in high school, like we were saying. But I just want to say that like it's so easy, or not easy, but it's so possible to get out of it. And again, you just have to work on yourself and screw what everyone says, to be quite honest, but it's worth it. Like if you are still in a time in your life where you feel like you have no confidence and you're still latching onto these things that were said to you when you were 12 years old, it's like there's so much liberation in not caring. And like, guys, just do it. Like, just get out of there, because it's not worth it. Like, how you're gonna waste your whole life thinking about these things? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So please, guys, if I can stop caring about what people think about me, maybe it's more natural for some people, but I think everyone can at least get to a point where, you know, they've improved their confidence. So please just like try what we said in this video, because you can't live your life like that.
Yeah, and it's a process. It takes time, but if you set yourself goals,
Yeah.
like for me, I remember 2 years ago, I was like, okay, by the time I'm 28, if I still care about what people think about me, then I fucked up, bro. Because
Yeah,
like
literally.
we're too old now to, because the way I think of it is whatever I'm thinking in my mind, other people must be thinking. So if I
Yeah.
stop giving a fuck about everyone else, then I don't feel like everyone gives a fuck about me anymore. But when I'm constantly judging other people, like if you're constantly judging other people, then no shit, you're gonna fear what other people think of you, because that's what's going on
Yeah.
in your own mind. Like you're judging all these people, so they must be judging you. But if it works the same way
Yeah.
backwards, so if you stop caring about what other people think, then you'll forget that thought of anyone cares about me. You'll actually be surprised. Like sometimes when I hear other people say certain things or they've talked about me, I'm like, oh shit, they're actually like they're still talking about me. Like it's surprising because it's like I don't care like that anymore. But
You
it's a
see,
process because it
but
comes
I'll
and
say
goes.
like
So
this.
sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But as long as you're actively working on it, then eventually
Yeah.
you'll break free from that. And yeah, you'll be able to do what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this because at the end of the day, like when people talk about you, but you have to kind of switch your mindset to say, if they're gonna talk about me, let them talk about all the things I've done that
Hmm.
makes positive impact. Like, don't give people a reason to talk about something negative about
Yeah,
you. So that's where,
yeah.
for me, at the end of the day, I kind of use it as fuel because I'm like, I know you'll talk shit. So I'm gonna give you all the ammunition for you to talk about me, but best believe you won't find anything for you to talk about
Yeah.
unless the shit I've done when I was in process. And the last thing I want to talk about, what, because I know we talked about confidence, etc. And I know it's like unhealthy conversation, but I know it was like a lot of people, especially we spoke about a couple of episodes ago. But what could we say for people who find confidence in having attraction from the opposite sex? Like, I think that's one of the issues where people just feel confidence when they're able to get validation from other people.
Mm.
So, what are some valuable tips? I know we talked about like inner peace or inner love, but what are some practical things that people can implement tomorrow
Guys,
where they're
just
like,
focus on yourself.
okay, these are
Please
tangible
focus on
things that can
yourself.
use?
Like
Like,
if your
please just focus on
confidence
yourself.
comes from other people being attracted to you.
Yeah,
Oh,
like you being able to pick up.
yeah, that's a good
Well,
one.
it's the same thing that we were saying before, where you
I
need
think
to get
so, yeah.
internal confidence. But yeah, I think it's really like, I think we're used to, at least for me, it's like I care more about what my partner thinks about me than the world, which might not be the same for other people. So I feel like for me, in terms of the opposite sex, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a bigger deal for me, and like that's where my insecurities are the strongest. I don't know, but I think you just need to like if that's what you're talking about, maybe like I think you just need to focus on yourself. Like if you're focusing on yourself and working on improving yourself, it doesn't matter. Like either the person's going to accept you for you trying to be the best version, or not, or they're not, you know. And that's all you can do is improve yourself to the best you possibly can be. And if you're constantly like crying thinking, oh my god, this person hates me, da 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 da, but you're not actually doing anything to like make yourself a better person, it's like, of course they're going to hate you. Like no one likes a miserable person. So I don't know,
Hmm.
I think you just have to focus on yourself, guys. Like I said earlier, the answer is self-improvement. Like I said before, self-improvement. Become obsessed with improving yourself, and it's gonna come naturally. Confidence will come naturally.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that answers your
I'll just
question,
say this
Charl,
because I
but
get a lot of DMs from people
that's what I
saying,
thought of.
no, but it's okay. But it's different for guys and girls. I guess maybe Chris will relate to this one, but I guess I get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of people questioning, like saying, "Oh, I want to improve financially, this, physically to attract a woman." But that's why I feel like
Mm.
people have to like stop saying that. 'Cause that's where, and I've been in those situations where you stack your pockets, this and that, thinking that doing this is gonna lead to more action in another piece of your life. But like
Yeah,
Sasha said, if you're able to wrap your head around that bigger purpose and attach yourself to that, all those things that you're requiring of yourself are going to come naturally. But I think people naturally gravitate towards doing something for the instant gratification or gratification from the opposite sex instead of saying like, this is my higher purpose and let me latch onto that, and then the process will speak for itself. So I'm not sure if we're able to answer that question today, but that's just most of the conversation I have, that people reach out to me to say like, I'm trying to do this. They're trying to buy Plex, aka for this, and that's why I think people kind of fuck up, because it's like
Yeah,
you're
I have
leaving.
no comments
Like
for
I'll
yeah,
say
this.
this: a lot of people are. I'll say this. I'll say this. I don't give a fuck. I haven't been on filter in a minute. A lot of dudes are letting 6 on 10 girls with negative net worth tell them what to do. Like if you're letting a girl on Twitter tell you like you need to make 100K and she's having her own issue and she's a 5 on 10, you you just fucked up your life. At the end of the day, work on what you have to do, fix yourself mentally, physically, and then afterwards you'll have the choice to pick who you want. But I think trying to do the most to impress somebody who, in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. I think that's where people kind of get trapped in their circle and the cycle. So if
Yeah,
people are
well,
just
just do
able
it for
to
yourself.
self-love and
Like,
just
yeah,
love your own company,
yeah. You definitely have to do it for yourself. Like doing it for
like your goals
girls.
have to be something that you want yourself, not what some, like you have to think, what is the root of this actual goal? What do I want from this? And do you actually want it?
mm-hmm.
Because if someone from Twitter, or like you're motivated by something stupid like that, that's not that's just not a good idea. And like you have to want it for yourself. And trust me, the girls are gonna come naturally if you're
Yeah,
improving your life. If you're focusing on yourself and improving your life, what guy do you know that is like that has really like leveled up his life, became fit, you know, learns new skills, whatever, who doesn't have girls?
facts. Yeah, exactly.
There's like it'll come naturally. You don't have to think about that. Just
Yeah,
start like
I
focus
think
on
that
yourself and it
people.
will come.
Yeah, I just think people just want to find shortcuts to life, and I think that's the issue. It's like, how can I do this in six
Facts.
months? I can have this result. It's a 10-year process minimum. It's a
Mm,
it's a 5 to 10 year process, and
Yeah.
that's just a starting point. So I think that when people grasp their head to say, like I've been on like self improvements, like improving my finances since 2017. It's only in 2022 that I'm seeing the result from my
hmm
efforts in 2017 pay off. So when you think of it like that, it's a long journey. So people are gonna come along, and at the end of the day, beggars can be choosers. So don't put yourself in a position where you're a beggar.
Facts.
How am I 25 and I'm only feeling like very confident now, like that's what I think about. So it's true, it's a really long journey, but it's like the earlier you start, the sooner it'll come. So it's like you need to start now because of how long this journey actually is, and the longer you push it off, you're just going to be
Mm-hmm.
miserable forever.
Yeah, yeah. Start working on yourself. Read books, watch videos,
Facts.
read blogs, look at other people, find role models. You don't need to know them personally. You can just follow them on social media, get as much free information out of their content as possible. And yeah, eventually the girls will come to you once you do that. So stop worrying about that, guys.
Yeah, I'll say one last gem. People have to learn how to have be multidisciplinarian, like have multiple disciplines where you're actually able to be of use. You can have expertise in one niche, but don't just be a resource for that niche and then not be able to overhaul the conversation or
Mm,
be able to bring value in different aspects. So if
Yeah,
you're able to be, I call it like a Renaissance man, where you're just able to do a lot of things well, and you don't do one thing that's great, that can also play out in your favor as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Well, this was a great episode of the Untold Gems podcast. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I think we are going to be getting a guest next week. I don't want to make any false promises, but I think we should have a guest next week. So yeah, we
I
will
like the
see
sound
you.
of that.
Yeah. And leave any comments below if we've helped you in any way since we've started. This is our 19th episode. Just leave like a gem emoji, and
Or
we
tell
will.
us what your suggestions are to become more confident.
Facts. Yeah, Sasha's on her YouTube thing.
Leave some comments below.
Yeah. All right, guys.
And
See
like
you
this video and subscribe.
Facts.
Okay, bye.